Hey everyone, good evening. I'm Chief Meteorologist Darrell Winninger from the Central Oregon Daily Weather Center, and you can expect several changes to our weather pattern, but a little more warming is expected with more rain in the forecast between now and going into this weekend. So we're about to take a deep dive into your most reliable forecast, look at what's been happening today, the changes we've already seen, and what's going to happen, how it's going to impact us, and what we're looking forward to on the backside of this active weather pattern. So buckle up, we're about to jump in and take a look at everything that you need to know when it comes to the weather. So a quick look across Central Oregon, and we have a lot more blue than we've seen in the last couple of days. We started off with some clouds, got clearing during the midday and afternoon hours, but there are still some clouds over parts of the high desert, including through the Cascades. However, no precipitation is showing up on radar. So let's go ahead and move over to satellite and radar. With satellite, we have a blend of infrared, invisible satellite imagery, and radar. Radar is where you see some of those showers, and you don't see too much across our state. Now, the clouds continue to thin out, and tonight we get a little bit more of that clearing. But if you look further out over the Pacific Ocean, that shield of cloud cover right here, that is going to be the beginning of our next system, and it starts to impact us through the day tomorrow with clouds pushing over the high desert. Temperature's still going to bump up a little bit. We're even looking at a chance of rain. So switching gears, looking at our enhanced infrared satellite imagery. This is just regular infrared, and I threw an enhancement on there so we can see where there's some deep convection. Where you see those reds, that's where we have a little bit more activity. So over the Tri-County area, we've had a lot of clearing, still a few clouds left to go, and it looks like, based on the timing of how everything's moving, several hours where we're just looking at some in and out clouds. But further over the Pacific Ocean, we have this beast of a low pressure system, and the low is right around the Aleutian Islands with a series of fronts, including a cold front right over the northern Pacific Ocean. Further to the south of that, there's a broad ridge of high pressure, and the way that I know that is we also have isobars on the map. Now, one of the fun things about isobars is where you have them tightly packed together, that's where there are stronger winds. And over Central Oregon, we have a couple different isobars. So winds have been breezy, even gusty for many of us across the Tri-County area. In the next couple of days, we're still looking at winds becoming breezy at times, but more sunshine. So in and out clouds are expected. However, today's sunshine, as we wrap up the day, it's going to be it until after this next system. It's not until Friday that we start to see the sun shining through those clouds a little bit more. So quick look at our high temperatures in the last 24 hours, and we've been looking at this topping out in the 50s and 60s across the high desert. Now, because of this, the average high temperature is right around 60 degrees, and yesterday I was going 59, so not too far off, but a little more pleasant than I thought it was going to be. And right now, we still have some 60s on the map, but also 47 in Sisters, 51 in Lapine, 52 in Sun River. Outside of that, upper 50s and into the 60s with the top temperature in Warm Springs at 65 degrees. And that puts us between 2 and 9 degrees warmer than it was 24 hours ago. And here through tonight, it's getting chilly pretty quickly, actually getting cold, with temperatures bottoming out near and below freezing for much of the high desert. Through the day tomorrow, we get a gradual warming trend that brings us back into the 60s, but remember, more cloud cover, so those clouds are going to inhibit our warming trend. But after a warm front, the tail end of a warm front pushes through, we are going to see those temperatures bump up a little bit more. So let's go ahead and look at a forecast model that's just going to help us understand where the warmer areas, where the cooler areas, and you also have streamlines on there indicative of wind speed and direction. So through the surface analysis on this map and a couple of words just to help describe it as well. But through Thursday, more clouds in advance of this next system. By Thursday, during the midday and afternoon hours, the tail end of that warm front has already passed us. We get a little bit of warm air advection, and that cold front is starting to bear down on the coastline. Showers are going to hold off until Thursday evening and Thursday night, and I'll show you that forecast model coming up as well. But by Friday, we do have a little bit of a break between systems. The cold front's still pushing through the Pacific Northwest. However, times of clearing are expected because this cold front is fizzling out. Some of that moisture stays with it, and there's a very low chance of any showers on Friday, but I did put it in there just in case there are some sprinkles. I can't say that you said there was going to be no rain, Darrell, but anyway, Saturday, low pressure comes up from the south. It develops on Friday over California and Nevada and pushes into the Pacific Northwest. northwest. That's going to bring with it a lot more moisture and a lot of showers. And actually, from the look of this forecast model, the updated one, it looks like we might be facing a double barrel low, two different lows. One just offshore in that pocket just going into the Puget Sound, and the other one over Idaho. And when you have two systems next to each other, that amplifies the winds, continues to pump even more moisture in from the Pacific Ocean, and is still going to be bringing us that shot of colder air. So by the time we hit Saturday night, we could even have some mountain snow and some flurries in our lower elevations. But roller coaster temperatures are expected. Two different chances of showers, both Thursday, tomorrow evening and overnight, and then again on Saturday. Some of that could start Friday night and continue into Saturday night as well. So let's look at that traditional forecast model. This one is a blend of a couple high resolution models, and it starts us off with that broad ridge of high pressure out over the Pacific Ocean, a cold front stretching down from the Gulf of Alaska into the North Pacific, and our high pressures building into the Pacific Northwest this evening. So tonight, in and out clouds are expected, but for the most part, more clearing than cloud cover until we hit the early morning hours. And right before sunrise, we'll start to see some of those clouds move in with increasing cover through the day. By Thursday, during the late afternoon going into the evening, some sprinkles will be possible. At this point, still a very dry air mass, so a lot of it could end up being virga, evaporating those showers before it reaches the surface, but scattered showers through the rest of the evening. During the AM hours Friday morning, some in and out covers expected, and during the day on Friday, periods of sunshine, still breezy at times. A couple sprinkles aren't out of the question. They're just going to be few and far between, especially compared to what we're looking at Saturday as that next cold low pressure system pushes into the Pacific Northwest, brings us even more rain Saturday. That's going to be off and on showers. Most of us are going to get wet, but it's not going to be a complete washout. And I know Saturday's also pole pedal paddle. Just know that it's going to be cool, breezy, even gusty at times, and wet if you're participating or viewing. By Saturday night, mountain snow and some snow showers in our lower elevations. But when we go past that, we're switching gears, looking at the GFS model. This is a long-range forecast model that's run by the National Weather Service, and it's not as high resolution, but it still helps paint a pretty good picture of what's going to happen in the timing of things. So through Saturday night, that lingering precipitation starts to wrap up, and by Sunday we start off with clouds and end up with a little more sunshine. By Monday, more sun than clouds, and Monday is really when our next warming trend begins to take shape. We go from 60s and some 50s on Sunday well into the 60s by Monday, still well into the 60s by Tuesday, but a weak wave of moisture could bring a dip in temperatures. It's one of those where it was a cold front, but it's not really as strong by the time it pushes through Monday night going into Tuesday. So a slight dip in temperatures it's going to be possible. Call it more of a slowing down of our warming trend, and by Wednesday more clouds roll in late. Now between tonight and Friday, we are expecting some showers. Most of those happen starting late Thursday through Thursday night. So our forecast model shows Thursday at 7 a.m., not much happening, and then through the afternoon and evening hours we get some of those showers, but by Friday it stays mostly dry. And so some of us don't even get wet with that first wave of moisture. However, right now winds are just gusty for most of the high desert. Gusts between 10 and 27 miles per hour coming out of the northwest. Actual wind speeds are 10 to 20 miles per hour and still coming out of the northwest. Now, a quick look forward when it comes to the winds. It's been breezy since late morning, and it's going to stay breezy until after sunset, but then a gentle breeze. By Thursday, we're looking at winds becoming breezy at times as we start to get that next round of some showers. And by Friday, just a little nudge up into breezy. It's not going to be bad at all. Remember, Friday is our break between systems. So for tonight, temperatures bottom out in the 30s with a few 20s out there. By Thursday, we're looking at 60s and some 50s possible. Remember, showers come in late in the day, and winds are going to be breezy during that time. And here's your 7-day planner. Even after that weak front on Thursday, which is just slowing down our warming trend, by Friday, temperatures bump up to just below average for this time of the year, mid to upper 60s. And then by Saturday, it gets much cooler. We're back into the 50s with very few 60s. I think I could even go down a couple more degrees. Right now, I have 59. I could see it conceivably only being 56, 58 degrees for an average high temperature on Saturday. But then Sunday, the warming trend begins and we are back into the 70s before you know it. Just have to wait until this time next week. So a quick recap for you. Our weather headlines for this Wednesday, May the 14th, colder tonight, but some warming ahead. Scattered showers late Thursday and Saturday, but in between those two systems, we're still looking at in and out clouds, and winds will be breezy at times. That's the latest in weather. If you have any comments, drop them in the comment section below. Other than that, join us tonight on Central Oregon Daily News. It's at 5 and 11 on ABC, and at 6, 7, and 11 on CBS. We'll see you then.